Hi Oakview Eagles, it's Miss Souza. I have come up with a really simple sciencey lesson today. I'm sitting outside. This is where I do most of my creative work. It's a beautiful day in Springfield, and obviously the birds are chirping. That's probably all you hear. But at any rate, today it's a really simple one. So let's see if you have any of these things, or maybe your parents can help you out with this. All right, let's take a look.
All right, so you might be thinking to yourself, what am I looking at here? Number one, we are looking at the pit of a avocado. Yes, the pit of an avocado. The pit of the avocado is actually a giant seed, which many of you might know. I, however, have heard about people taking avocado pits and then being able to successfully grow them into a small plant that can then, like a seedling, which then can be planted into a pot, is probably the best thing you would want to do. So my family and I have our Taco Tuesday night, and we more recently had some avocados, and so I kept the pit. I've washed them off really well, so you want to wash them underwater and lightly scrub it because it's slimy. So you want to kind of lightly maybe just rub it with your fingers. That's what I did. So what's happening here is the shell is starting to come off because it hasn't been exposed to any water in a number of days. So I'm going to want to reintroduce at least the bottom portion of it to start to establish roots. And from what I know, what will happen is, first of all, the part with this little discoloration, almost looks like a little belly button, that is the bottom of the pit. That's important to know. The top of the pit is a little more pointed. I don't know if you can barely see that, almost like an egg. So what I'm going to do is I have 2 cups with overflowing water, and this is just so that I can figure out how much I might need. I'm going to want to suspend the top slightly in the water. I would say about almost half, maybe a third. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to use some toothpicks. Yeah. So you might have seen this before, but I'm going to go ahead and take us through this process. And you'll see why. I'm going to end up putting 3 of them in that area around the pit, and it's going to suspend above the cup a little bit, touching the water. So I'm going to place the toothpicks, and then I will show you what I have. All right, so after doing some tinkering, which, all good experimenters do, I discovered that in order to get the bottom of the pit to touch the water, and see, I had to put the toothpicks like almost, see, wow, it caught, nice, almost dropped it. Actually, I did drop it. I had to put it in around the middle of the pit, and then I just did it like that. In fact, I think one of my toothpicks isn't even touching the edge of the water, but anyway, I might reposition these a little bit so that all of them are touching, or I might only use 3 of the toothpicks because one of mine just broke, and I do have 2 pits and I want to experiment with 2 of them. All right, there we go. I ended up using 3 because I had 6 toothpicks remaining. So let's take you back there. I had 7 toothpicks because I didn't have any more, and one of them broke, so that left me with 6, which means I could not do 4 toothpicks on one and 3 on the other, so I just went with 3 and 3. Bam! So here we are. I've got 2 avocado pits. Like I said before, they're a little older because I had them out for a few days. See, the shell is already starting to wrinkle, but apparently that is normal. As the shell on the top starts to dry out, it will start to wrinkle and it will start to crack. In fact, it might even come off all the way, is what I understand. And what will happen is at the bottom here, as we can see through the cup, what will emerge is called a tap root. And that one little root is like the lifeline to the entire project here. So when you see that one little root start to pull down, you don't want to touch it You don't want to damage that one little root. It literally is what will keep this project moving. And then from there, other roots will come from that one root. As the pit sucks in the water and uses that for food, the water level will lower a little naturally. So we're going to want to very carefully move, probably want to hold it by one of your secure toothpicks, pull it up, add a little more water, and then put it back down. We don't want to get water around the toothpicks. I'm going to say that again. We don't want water so high that it touches the toothpicks. And the reason for that is mold. We don't want these to be the catalyst of feeding mold into our little seed. And then the last thing that I know, we always want the water to be touching the bottom of the pit. So check on it every day. Make sure that the pit is still touching the water. Don't change the water out too quickly. Apparently it likes a water change about every 5 days to even a week. So lifting this up carefully, having a family member help you by pouring out the water, putting in new water, and then placing it down gently. Again,
We want to make sure that we're not touching the bottom where that tap root is coming out.
it may take up to 6 to 8 weeks to see anything happen up here. Okay? Anything. Yes, there will be a sprout that comes out. All right? And when we see that, and it gets to about 6 inches tall, yes, the green will come out with leaves and everything. That is when it is encouraged that you put it into a pot. If you have any questions, have your parents email me, but I'm excited. I'm going to be taking pictures every day.
And with any luck, I'll have a bunch of pictures and I'll be able to put them together with like a photo montage or something so I can see the steps and all of the process that happened between now and germinating, which is when we start to see the green top. Well, that's it for today. I hope you had fun. Hope you were able to learn a little something today. Be sure to check in with me on Flipgrid at OV Creative Space. Until next time.